Starfire Protocol used to be insanely strong, and then Bungie nerfed it to the ground. Well, I'm happy to say that with Edge of Fate, Starfire has risen from the grave. Let's jump right on into it. With Edge of Fate, we got a ton of reworks to current exotics, one of those being Starfire Protocol, and this got two major changes. First, Starfire states that dealing empowered weapon damage and kills will give back grenade energy. This used to mean that you had to be in an empowering rift or a Well of Radiance. Now, this includes any time that you're radiant, meaning you can take the healing rift or Phoenix dive for more survivability and still get the benefit of more grenade energy. That way, you can have your cake and eat it too. The second major change to this exotic is the amount of energy gained. See, with Starfire, every 0.4 seconds a weapon does damage, you now get back grenade energy. This used to be 2.5% energy, but with Edge of Fate, it's doubling to 5%. This already means you'll be throwing twice the amount of grenade for double the damage. But with the changes to stats, at 70 to 100, we'll be gaining back more grenade energy than pre-Edge of Fate. And when we're going to 100 in our grenade stat, we can gain up to 65% more damage. And the even crazier thing is that in Edge of Fate, any stats that go past 70 will have more energy gains and shorter cooldowns for those abilities. Since our grenade will be at or above 100, with our energy grenades from Starfire and the fusion grenade short cooldown, we can casually gain back our grenades every 8 seconds. But to take it even further, by proccing Ember of Benevolence and this season's artifact perk Shield Crush, we can gain back our grenades about every 2 seconds. Oh yeah, and did I mention that Shield Crush will also give our grenades another 25% multiplicative damage boost? So that now our grenades will be dealing a total of 106% more damage. This season has more than quadrupled the damage output of Starfire Protocol. So let's dive into the build and break down how it works. For the super, I'm of course opting for Well of Radiance. This not only procs Starfire and gives you more weapon damage than Radiant, but will also convert your weapon damage into super damage, which is important later in the stats section. For abilities, for the class ability, I went with the Healing Rift since it's a bit more of a safe option, though Phoenix Dive is more mobile and will let you proc Ember of Benevolence more often. For the melee, I went with Celestial Fire since it has longer range and is really strong in endgame activities for proccing Ember of Benevolence and Ember of Torches at range. As for the grenade, we're of course bringing the Fusion Grenade for its synergy with Starfire Protocol, though it also has a ton of synergy with our first aspect, Touch of Flame. Now, our solar grenades have increased benefits. For the Fusion Grenade, it will now explode twice, and the second explosion will deal slightly more damage than the first, so this will more than double its base damage, making it a key component for a Starfire Protocol build. The second aspect I like to take is Helion. Now, whenever we use our class ability, we create a solar buddy at our side, and this solar buddy will launch projectiles, dealing damage and scorching enemies. Since this build is geared towards dealing a ton of boss damage, this will help to add in more ignitions and in turn, more passive damage. And when it comes to fragments, for the first fragment, I'm taking Ember of Benevolence. This makes it so that applying Cure or Radiant to our teammates will give us a ton of ability regeneration speed for all of our abilities. And this will be equivalent to about 570% regeneration speed for our grenades. Then I opted for Ember of Torches. That way our melees will make us and nearby allies radiant, and this helps to keep up that 100% uptime on the Starfire Protocol buff. But this will also make it so that we have another way to proc Ember of Benevolence for even more grenades and all of our abilities. Next, I bring Ember of Searing. That way, killing a scorched enemy will give back melee energy and create a fire sprite, which will help us keep up our radiant and give us back more grenade energy. And finally, I bring Ember of Ashes. This makes it so that all sources of Scorch will apply about 50% more stacks of Scorch, and this leads to more damage and in turn, more ignitions. And if you're enjoying the video or just excited to be playing the new content, leaving a like and subscribing would be much appreciated. I will be streaming the new raid, Desert Perpetual, on launch, so keep an eye out for that. Alright, let's get right back to it. So what does this look like in action? Well, the main thing you want to know is that you want 100% uptime on your Radiant buff. This not only gives 20% more weapon damage, but also lets you proc the Starfire buff for more grenade energy. So to start out, I like to throw an initial grenade. Then I use my powered melee to become Radiant, and if you're near a teammate, this will also proc Ember of Benevolence for that increased ability regen. Then shoot your Wither Horde or Area Denial Grenade Launcher to consistently deal damage, which will passively keep proccing Starfire for more grenade energy. Make sure to pop a Healing Rift or Phoenix Dive near a teammate to create a solar buddy and re-proc Ember of Benevolence so that you can keep spamming those grenades. In DPS phases, you want to start by popping your well, then throw a grenade, then keep cycling between your heavy weapon Weapon and Wither Horde to deal a ton of damage, meanwhile throwing those grenades whenever you get them back. And if you are using Phoenix Dive, then you can also do this in the middle of a DPS phase to gain another burst of ability regeneration by reprocking Ember Benevolence and in turn creating another solar buddy. Alright, let's talk about ways to improve the build. When it comes to stats, you mainly want to aim for 160 grenade. That way you can gain that extra grenade damage. And we'll talk about why 160 and not 200 in a minute. But this might not be possible at first since we will have to farm for that higher tier loot, but you still want to aim for as much in that grenade stat as possible. I then like to aim for as much super as possible. Getting over 100 will increase your super damage by up to 45%, and since your own Well of Radiance converts your weapon damage into super damage, this will make both your weapons and grenades deal a ton of damage in DPS phases. After that, I like to make sure I have a decent amount in both weapons and class. That way I can deal more damage to enemies and our class ability will have a shorter cooldown. Now when it comes to armor mods, in the new system, font mods are more important than ever. At a base level, font mods will give plus 20 to any stat, 2 mods will give plus 40, and 3 mods will give plus 50 for whichever stat they align with. So I'll mainly be opting for 1 to 2 font mods for the stats that I want to deal more damage with, since 3 is kind of diminishing returns. So when it comes to those helmet mods, first I like to take a Harmonic Siphon to help create a ton of orbs by getting rapid kills with our solar weapons. Next, I like to bring 2 Fonts of Wisdom, or your super font mod. That way when we have armor charge, it'll give us plus 40 to our super, which will give us that damage boost by popping our well. And when it comes to the gauntlet mods, first up I like to bring 2 copies of our grenade font mod. That way we gain plus 40 for our grenade stat, which will make it a lot easier to reach that 200 cap and deal the most damage possible with our fusion grenades. Then I bring a copy of Firepower. That way by getting a grenade kill, we can create an orb every 10 seconds. We now intrinsically gain back health by picking up an orb, but this will also help to keep our armor charge active for maximum benefit. As for the chest mods, like in most content, I'm mainly opting for 3 resistance mods. I usually like to bring 2 elemental resistances to match the activity that I'm in. Then I like to bring 1 concussive dampener to take less AoE damage. And when it comes to the leg mods, I like to bring 3 solar weapon surges to gain 22% more damage with our solar weapons, since I do love to bring a solar primary and heavy weapon, though you could alternatively opt to drop one of these for a harmonic scavenger mod to gain back more heavy ammo. And when it comes to class mods, I first like to bring powerful attraction. That way I can pick up any nearby orbs by using my class ability. Then I like to bring a class font mod. That way we gain plus 20 to our class stat whenever we have armor charge active. And finally I bring time dilation. That way we have 15 seconds per armor charge to ensure we have it constantly active for our stats and weapon damage. As for the artifact perks, this season we have a ton of artifact mods that will be boosting solar. First, we have Flame, Fiber, and Freeze, which can combine solar and strand, plus solar and stasis siphon mods to create more orbs with all of our weapons if you do plan on bringing a stasis or strand weapon. Then we have Fever and Chill, and this makes it so that multiple precision hits with our solar and stasis weapons will give you a benefit. Solar weapons will give you another way to access Radiant, which will make it easier to make sure you have 100% uptime on Radiant. I also really like Elemental Benevolence, so that granting allies an elemental buff will give you back more class ability energy. Then I like to bring the wombo combo of Elemental Coalescence and Refreshing Threads, so that getting solar kills will create fire sprites, and then picking up fire sprites will give us back ability energy to our leash charge ability. And you can also opt for Shoulder to Shoulder, so that sustained precision damage while near 2 allies will give you more damage resistance. But 2 of the most important artifact perks come from the final column. First, we have Radiant Shrapnel, so that sustained weapon damage while radiant or killing a scorched enemy with a weapon will release solar projectiles that deal damage and scorch enemies. This will lead to more damage in boss phases and during ad clearing phases. Then we have Shield Crush. This will make it so that while radiant we gain a bonus of 25% grenade damage and recharge rate, which is huge for boss damage and throwing even more grenades during those DPS phases. And when it comes to weapons, one of the main things to know is that you want to bring a weapon that can deal passive damage over time. That way you can consistently gain back grenade energy while in DPS phases. Wither Horde is a great option since it deals decent damage, it has auto-loading holster, and it deals that passive damage over time. Alternatively, you could opt for an area denial grenade launcher, like Lost Signal, though you will have to shoot it more often. In the second slot, I mainly like to take a solar primary, mainly one with heal clip. This will not only help keep you alive, but add in yet another way to proc Ember Benevolence for that increased ability regeneration. And there are a ton of good options out there, so pick whichever one's your favorite. In that heavy slot, you want to bring your strongest solar heavy that matches the activity you're in. I really like Hezen Vengeance with Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch for a ton of burst damage, though alternatively you could opt for Apex Predator, which can roll with either Reconstruction or Demo, and Bait and Switch for a ton of burst damage as well. This build deals a ton of boss damage with your grenades and weapons, and even has some good survivability in the ad clearing portions. But if you want to see a Titan build that also got a major glow up in the Edge of Fate, then go check out this video here. Remember, mastering this build is only the beginning. Experiment with different combinations and tweak your loadout to suit suit your playstyle. If you found this video helpful or just enjoyed seeing a new perspective, feel free to like the video and comment down below on what you might change or how you'd improve the new and improved Starfire Protocol build. Keep an eye out for future videos as we continue to explore the ever-evolving world of Destiny 2. Until then, may the threads of fate be ever in your favor. This is Lucky Mech signing off. See you on the next adventure, Guardians.